Sarah Ferguson has allegedly made a decision that no one saw coming. After decades of defending Prince Andrew through scandal after scandal, insiders claim she has finally drawn a line. Not a soft boundary, not a temporary pause, a complete severance, according to royal commentator Rob Shooter. Sources close to the situation say Sarah has cut off all contact with Andrew. The wording is deliberate. Cut off. That suggests finality. For years, Sarah stood beside him publicly, even when it cost her reputation, even when critics questioned her motives. She appeared at events with him, lived under the same roof, and maintained what many described as an unusually close relationship for a divorced couple. But something has shifted. Shooter's sources claim this is not about morals. It is not about making a statement. They say it is about survival. One insider put it bluntly, saying Andrew can no longer offer what he once did: free accommodation, zero rent, financial security, and now that those benefits are gone, so is she. That is a harsh assessment, but it reflects a pattern many have noticed for years. Sarah Ferguson has always been tied to financial struggles. From past debts to questionable business ventures, money has repeatedly played a central role in her decisions. This time, the stakes are different. Royal Lodge, the Windsor mansion where Sarah and Andrew lived together for years, is no longer theirs. Reports confirm they must vacate by the end of January. Andrew is reportedly moving to a modest property on the Sandringham estate, but Sarah will not be joining him. Instead, she is said to be weighing multiple options. Some reports suggest she is looking at properties in the Windsor area. Others claim she may temporarily stay with family. A few insiders even speculate she could follow her daughter, Princess Eugenie, to Portugal. What is clear is that Sarah wants distance, geographical distance, social distance, reputational distance. But here is where the story gets more complicated. According to the Mail on Sunday, Princess Eugenie has also cut off contact with her father. Palace sources claim she did not visit Andrew over Christmas. She has chosen to distance herself completely. One insider described the difference between the two sisters clearly. Beatrice is walking a fine line, trying to stay connected to Andrew while remaining close to the royal family. Eugenie is not walking that line at all. She is simply not speaking to him. That is significant. For years, Eugenie was seen as Andrew's strongest ally. She defended him publicly. She stood by him privately. She appeared unwilling to let go, even as pressure mounted. If both Sarah Ferguson and Princess Eugenie are now stepping away, it suggests something deeper than a temporary rift. It suggests calculation. Shooter's report frames Sarah's decision as damage control. One confidant reportedly said Andrew's problems are her problems. The same source suggested that Sarah benefited from her association with Andrew for years. Now that the perks are gone, so is her loyalty. Friends of Sarah are said to be skeptical. One source told Shooter they are not buying the sudden reinvention. They point out how deeply embedded she has been in Andrew's world for decades. And that raises the question many are asking: can Sarah Ferguson really walk away? Or is this just another chapter in a long pattern of public distancing followed by private loyalty? Don't go anywhere. What we're about to reveal will leave you speechless. Part 2. The financial motive. There is another layer to this story, and it involves money. Reports have surfaced claiming Sarah Ferguson is considering offers for a tell-all TV interview. According to The Sun, U.S. channels are willing to pay six-figure sums to secure the chat. Some insiders suggest the fee could climb into seven figures depending on how much she is willing to reveal. That timing is not coincidental. A source told The Sun that Andrew had his chance to tell his story. Now, it's Fergie's time. Another insider warned that without the protection of the royal family, Sarah will need to make money. And the juicier the gossip, the higher the fee. That creates a troubling incentive. Sarah Ferguson has spent years defending Andrew. She appeared alongside him during his most controversial moments. She lived with him at Royal Lodge even after their divorce in 1996. She holidayed with him, raised their daughters with him, and publicly supported him through scandal after scandal. But now, with financial pressure mounting and the perks of Royal Lodge disappearing, she is reportedly entertaining the idea of speaking publicly. And not just speaking for profit. One royal commentator described it as a major headache for King Charles. Another warned that Sarah could be pushed toward saying as much as she possibly can. The more explosive the revelations, the higher the payout. That raises uncomfortable questions about motive. Is this a principled stand against Andrew's behavior? Or is it a calculated move to secure financial stability after years of dependency? Critics point to Sarah's history. She has faced financial difficulties before. From debts to failed business ventures, to controversies involving money, finances have repeatedly defined her public image. In 2010, she was caught in a sting operation, attempting to sell access to Prince Andrew for £500,000. She later apologized, calling it a terrible lapse in judgment. But the damage was done. In recent years, reports have emerged detailing her spending habits, shopping sprees, lavish feasts, expensive trainers, even bad Bitcoin deals. One insider described her as someone who lives beyond her means, always chasing the next opportunity. Now, with Royal Lodge gone and Andrew unable to provide financial security, Sarah is reportedly looking for new revenue streams, and a tell-all interview fits that pattern perfectly. But there is a risk. If Sarah speaks publicly about Andrew, she risks alienating the royal family entirely. King Charles has already made it clear he wants Andrew to downsize and step further away from public life. A bombshell interview from Sarah could complicate that effort. It could also backfire on Sarah herself. For years, she has benefited from her proximity to Andrew and the royal family. She attended events, maintained a public profile, and enjoyed a lifestyle far beyond what she could afford independently. If she speaks out now, she loses that connection. One friend reportedly warned that getting away from both Andrew's issues and her own role in them will not be easy. Another said Sarah has realized she does not need Andrew or his drama anymore. But the question remains, if she did not need him, why did she stay for so long? The timing of this alleged break is telling. It comes just as Andrew is forced to leave Royal Lodge. Just as his financial situation becomes untenable. Just as the perks disappear. To many observers, that timing feels less like principle and more like convenience. Royal watchers have seen this pattern before. Public distancing followed by private loyalty. Statements of independence followed by quiet support. For decades, Sarah Ferguson has navigated this space, maintaining a relationship with Andrew while managing her own reputation. But this time, the stakes are higher. If Sarah truly cuts off contact, she loses access to the royal world entirely. If she speaks publicly, she risks becoming a pariah. If she stays silent, she misses a lucrative opportunity. It is a difficult position, and one that raises a harder question. What does this say about Sarah herself? For years, Sarah Ferguson had a choice, and she made it repeatedly. She chose to stand by Andrew during the worst years of his scandals. She chose to remain at Royal Lodge even as his association with Jeffrey Epstein became impossible to ignore. She chose to appear alongside him publicly. Even when critics questioned her judgment, she never felt the need to distance herself before. Not during the Epstein revelations, not during the Newsnight interview, not even when Andrew's reputation collapsed entirely. Yet now, when the financial security is gone, that is when the line is finally drawn. To some, that timing feels less like principle and more like survival. One insider described it bluntly. They said Sarah benefited from Andrew for years. Free housing, zero rent, a lifestyle she could not afford independently. Now that those benefits are gone, so is she. That is a harsh assessment, but it reflects a view held by many royal watchers who have long questioned whether Sarah's support was rooted in Sarah goes from here. Necessity, with Andrew reportedly preparing to leave Royal Lodge and downsize to a property on the Sandringham estate. The living arrangements that kept them intertwined are finally ending. That alone changes the dynamic. For years, proximity made separation difficult. They shared a home, raised daughters together, and navigated scandals as a unit. If Andrew is no longer able to offer housing or financial stability, Sarah's incentive to remain closely linked diminishes significantly, but the separation may not be as clean as it appears. The two share daughters, a long history, and overlapping social circles. Even if contact has been reduced or paused, insiders suggest the break will not be simple or permanent behind the scenes. One friend reportedly said, Sarah has realized she does not need Andrew or his drama anymore. Another warned that getting away from both his issues and her own role in them will not be easy. There is also fresh reporting on Sarah's living arrangements. Sources say she will not be moving with Andrew to Sydney. Instead, she is weighing several options. Some reports suggest she is looking at properties in Windsor. Others claim she may stay temporarily with family. A few insiders speculate she could follow Princess Eugenie to Portugal. None of these plans have been confirmed, but they all point to the same conclusion. Sarah wants out. The question is whether she can truly escape. Her history is intertwined with Andrew's. Her financial struggles are well documented. Her reputation has been shaped by decades of proximity to scandal. A clean break may not be possible. And then there is the tell-all interview. If Sarah accepts an offer to speak publicly, she risks alienating the royal family entirely. She also risks exposing herself. For years, she has been part of Andrew's world. She lived with him. She defended him. She benefited from him. If she speaks now, critics will ask why she stayed silent for so long. They will question her motives. They will point to the financial incentive. They will wonder whether this is about principle or profit. Royal watchers are already asking those questions. One commentator described it as a catch-22. What do you do with Andrew and Fergie? They were mutually part of Andrew's world, but they are cut loose now. Another warned that Sarah could be pushed toward saying as much as she possibly can. The more explosive the revelations, the higher the payout. That creates a troubling dynamic, one where loyalty seems strongest when the benefits are flowing, and where distance emerges only when the perks disappear. This story could signal a genuine shift within the family, or it could be another chapter in a long pattern of public distancing and private loyalty. What makes this moment different is the alignment. Sarah stepping back, Eugenie stepping away, Beatrice keeping her distance, Andrew increasingly isolated. Whether this is coincidence or coordination remains unclear, but for the first time in years, the narrative around Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew is changing, and not in his favor. So here's the question for you. Do you think this is a real break, or just another performance designed to protect appearances while maintaining quiet contact? And if Sarah Ferguson is truly done, why now and not years ago? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think justice will ever be served?